Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games. Here we have Josh coming back to Magic after a considerable break with Shadow versus Blue-Black Scam. Kind of the evolution of the Shadow list from when he had left. Right around that time is when people started to see the power of Reanimate Grief in a Death Shadow shell, and Scam ultimately kind of the evolution of that, or focused on the power of Orcish Bowmaster. Happy to win with Murktide more often, requiring more underground seas. The mana base for Shadow much friendlier to people starting out. Watery Grave often the duel that you want to be fetching early and often, lowering your life total to make your Death Shadow a very credible threat. Brainstorm actually stopped by minor misstep. And Wasteland clearing out that underground sea. Wasteland fires back, fair is fair. Tit for tat right now. Kevin the only one with a land on board. Just 3 cards in hand, it looks like. Getting a basic island this time. Not looking to get Wastelanded out of the game. And grabs another underground sea with a cave troll. It's not Lorien revealed, so he cannot avoid getting a dual land there. He'll have the double blue that the deck really needs. Him to Torok being discarded. That is not great. Kevin pondering. Sees a Force of Will. Got a Grief in hand. That is not what he's interested in. Looking for some threats. At this point, Josh, no cards on board, so realistically, anything's going to be a 2-for-1. Kevin deploys any type of threat. Josh is going to need to Force a Will it, keep it off the board, or just allow it to resolve. Either one of those is potentially fine for Kevin. Animate. Gonna bring back Cave Troll. That guy is huge. This will be over in short order. Wasteland takes out that underground sea. Now, Reanimate Grief, and this is real bad. This is like 1 turn away from death. I don't even think there's anything that he can draw here to get back into it. Oh, he does have Bowmasters, though. That's nice. I actually didn't think he had a chance to pick those up before he took a break from Magic. Josh, part of our crew, playing Sorcery. Brother Jacob. A really fun 90s style card game. Probably could have been talking about that first game. Would have been more entertaining. That was pretty brutal. Just a example of Wasteland sometimes just getting you. And Grief, Josh is reluctant, but ultimately shows his hand. Grief, of course, a card that you can reanimate to get that second crack at your opponent's hand. Conversely, you can also take a good threat out of your opponent's hand. For example, if they're playing a card like Gristlebrand, go ahead and just reanimate the Gristlebrand. That Grief conveniently puts into the graveyard for you. Kevin in the driver's seat right here with the Scam package. Doing what it's supposed to. It's much, much stronger in Legacy than in Modern. Obviously, the ability to reanimate later on instead of having to have an instant speed reply. The Supernatural Stamina style cards require that timing. Grief can just be thrown out there. Brought back later. Spell Pierce looking to deny this Hymn to Torok. Josh has Force and a blue card. He can force this through, but he is behind on board. Hymn to Torok. Wrong art here featured. Pretty big decision from a deck building perspective, which art to use for Hymn to Torok. It's like this is going to be the nail in the coffin. I think we saw a Murktide Regent on Kevin's side. This will just be closing it out. Evasion all over the place. Flying for Murktide. Menace for Grief. A Death Shadow not going to be able to stay in the way of that. And it's not going to be... Oh, no, it's not quite over. And now it's very over. Brazen Borrower bouncing Death Shadow. And that is a wrap. Just a quick tempo play. Rip things up at the end of that game. And Murktide closing it out against its predecessor.